fought the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
With Pokemon Legends ZA, I feel like we've hit a turning point that nobody expected and honestly nobody asked for. Remember when Pokemon games actually felt like events? When new evolutions meant something? But before I get into it, please hit the like button and the hype button as well. It really helps out channels like mine to be able to stand up to the greedy corporations and the toxic influencers. When you would see a new form of a fan favorite Pokemon and it would light up your imagination, not crush your soul under the boots of corporate greed. Those days feel like ancient history now, because what we are dealing with today with the Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension DLC is honestly embarrassing. Not just a little "oh that's unfortunate" kind of embarrassing, but a full-on hide your face, avert your eyes, pretend you don't know them sort of disaster. They took one of the most popular Pokemon in the franchise, Lucario. A Pokemon beloved since its debut because of its sleek, heroic, and almost noble design. And they slapped a clown wig on him, smeared some pastel nonsense over that iconic blue and black color scheme, and called it a day. It literally looks like someone modded in the discount Halloween costume version of Lucario 5 minutes before the deadline, and Game Freak said, yep, lock it behind 30 bucks, ship it out, we're done here. And one of the worst parts of it all, not only are the designs lackluster, not only do they look like knockoffs of themselves, but they now want you to pay extra money just to see these downgraded versions of Pokemon that already should have been in the base game in the first place. Fan favorites locked behind a paywall, Mega Lucario paywall, Mega Raichu paywall. Popular Pokemon that fans have been begging to see return for years. And not creative evolutions either, oh no, we're talking about lightning bolts glued to a head, a random sword pasted on their back, and a color palette that makes you wonder if the intern was trying out colorblind mod for the first time. Pokemon used to pride itself on being the king of creature design, the gold standard, the series everyone else copied. Now they're just scraping together design choices that look like they were rejected Digimon drafts left in a recycling bin. And what makes this much worse is that the base game, the very foundation they're building this overpriced Mega Dimension scam on, was already thinner than a piece of gas station toilet paper. Barely over 200 Pokemon in the entire game. A story shorter than your average Saturday morning cartoon, a city that takes 2 minutes to run across as if they shrunk Lumious in a wash, an experience padded with recycled animations and reused assets that made so many people ask the same question: where did the budget go? And now they expect us to pay more. They really believe they could put out something that felt like a glorified mod pack, and then make us grateful to pay an extra $30 for what should have been included to begin with. People call this DLC, but it's more like content that was cut out of the original game solely to be charged twice. They upsell what used to be free gameplay while pretending it's a gift. Nintendo and Game Freak know fans love Lucario. They know Mega Evolutions are still one of the most requested features in Pokemon. They know nostalgia is one thing keeping this franchise together. And they decide, let's weaponize that nostalgia against them. Let's drain their wallets dry because loyal fans won't complain loudly enough to actually hurt sales. That's the attitude here. There's no passion in this DLC. There's no creativity. It's corporate cynicism in the ugliest form possible, wrapped in a trailer with dramatic music to make you think it's meaningful. They could have brought Mega Evolutions back triumphantly, a celebration of everything players loved. Instead, they dug up the idea like a corpse and reanimated it just long enough to charge people for the privilege of witnessing a creative tragedy. The Pokemon Company had decades to refine, advance, and respect the franchise that built them into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Instead, they hit autopilot and their only innovation is finding new ways to charge fans more for less. They have the audacity to stand next to massive masterpieces like Elden Ring, which gave gigantic amounts of new content for a reasonable DLC price, and act like $30 for new character skins and an awkward short chapter of content is equivalent. How can they look at what the rest of the industry is doing, games that respect players with content, polish, effort, and seriously think they're competing? They're not competing, they're farming. They treat Pokemon fans like a renewable resource to be harvested every year. This DLC is the ultimate illustration of what happens when executives assume players will buy anything with a Pikachu logo attached. They think the standard doesn't matter anymore. They think gameplay doesn't need to improve. They think quality is optional. They think loyalty is permanent. But the reality is that people are waking up, and not even the most iconic, beloved Pokemon can save them from accountability forever. If Game Freak keeps treating fans like this, eventually the fans will treat Game Freak the exact same way. Pokemon treats an underperforming move. Forget it exists and replace it with something better. And hopefully they start waking up even faster. Now let's switch to something I think is absolutely hilarious, because believe it or not, while Pokemon is over here nickel and diming everyone with mega evolutions made out of leftover modeling clay, there is something happening on the other side of the gaming world that I find absolutely hilarious. Science has entered the conversation, and if you told me last year that scientists would be out here in lab coats running around doing peer-reviewed tests to explain why gamers prefer Palworld over Pokemon, I would have laughed directly into your face. But here we are, an actual scientific study exists, a legitimate research paper, published, reviewed, the whole deal. And its entire purpose is basically answering the question: why are gamers choosing the gun-toting Chaos Gremlin game with workplace violence, creature labor over the biggest media franchise on Earth? I mean, come on, that's gold. Literal professors sitting around with charts and data points trying to figure out why people like giving their pals assault rifles and building sweatshops in the forest, more than we're playing Pokemon's latest 2-hour tutorial. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know how credible this study is. I'm not a scientist, alright, I barely trust myself to assemble a bookshelf without flipping it upside down. But I will say this, when an academic institution decides that Palworld is worth a psychological deep dive while Pokemon fans are still out here arguing whether Dynamax was a good idea, something has shifted. They surveyed a bunch of Palworld players, most of whom also play Pokemon, and what they found is basically what every gamer with a functioning brain already figured out months ago. Palworld gives players more freedom, more control, more creativity, and more ways to have fun with their friends than Pokemon has for years. Apparently adults, you know, the people who actually grew up with Pokemon and stuck with it for decades, want games that grow with them. Games with actual depth, system, choices, co-op, experimentation, and not walk forward, press A, cutscene, and repeat. And now science is backing that up with numbers and a fancy sounding theory. They said players feel more autonomy in Palworld, more social interaction, more accomplishment, and I'm just sitting here thinking, Nintendo Game Freak, how does it feel knowing a team of scholars just pulled up receipts proving you've lost touch with the people who kept you alive all this time? The funniest part is that this study should have been about Pokemon. Pokemon used to be the one pushing boundaries. Pokemon used to be the blueprint, but now the blueprint is literally being handed to the competition while Game Freak is over here gluing tassels to Lucario's face and calling it innovation. The fact that a survival crafting meme game where you can mine ore with the depressed penguin while riding a llama with a Gatling gun is now the scientifically documented better experience for grown-up gamers is honestly incredible. And you know what? I'll go ahead and link this study down below because it's huge, like a genuine long read. It has charts, graphs, psychological analysis, word counts that would make your high school English teacher faint. It's all there. So if you want to take a peek and laugh just like I did, you can scroll down and enjoy. And Game Freak, maybe click the link too. Might be some good homework for the future, because science is literally telling you to wake up and evolve before you become the Sinjin Ninja of your own franchise, a hollow shell of what you once were. Nintendo can keep trying to squeeze every last nostalgic dollar out of Mega Lucario Z and calling it a premium experience. They can keep pretending that $30 DLC is worth it because they slapped the word Mega on it. They can keep underestimating the intelligence and standards of their own fans. And while they're doing that, while they're stuck in a bubble of a boardroom arrogance, the rest of the gaming world, even academics, are moving on. Players are finding new games that respect their time and their wallets. Researchers are acknowledging the shift and the industry is changing whether Nintendo like it or not. Pokemon may be iconic, it may be historic, it may have built childhood and broken sales records, but history does not guarantee success in the future. Respect for player does, creativity does, effort does, and if Game Freak doesn't rediscover those values really fast, then the next scientific study may not be about why Palworld succeeded, but about how Pokemon finally lost its crown. And that's it for the video. If you truly enjoyed it, do me a favor and hit the like button, hit the hype button, share it around, and make sure you're subscribed. I post a long video every day, and I also go live Monday morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time, where I react to the saltiest fanboys around. And also, make sure you subscribe because I'm really trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really need your help. If you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. It's only $1 a month. You'll get special badges, custom emotes, and of course your name shouted at the end of every video. And once that list gets too long, don't worry, I will turn it into a full-on credit roll so everybody gets their chance to shine. Also, don't forget to check out the merch if you want to rep the Vigilante Fire. And as always, until next time guys, stay vigilant. And now we're at that point where I'm going to read off the members of the channel. We got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Matt Fox 94, Evil Rolo, Oh No Is Justin, Naria, Camaro, C-Stars Pip Club, J Wesby 65, Geezer Noob, Dustin 360, That PlayStation Gamer, Steven Ramy, Matthew Buckley, Johnny Bones Jones, Trigger is Groot, Ari Kawasa, Blue Moon, Kasaria, Vetful Zexel, A1K300, Kawabin Asaria, Pokefan, Starlight Mirror, Crystal Woe, Phoenix Freestar, The More Incredible Grimlock, Ninja Pat, T-Man the Cool, Kyria Lunar, Ronan Reef, Shadow Dragons, Brandon Alex, Mr. Krabs, Back Edge, Nightfall Hero Academy, Vega Bars, Switch Addiction, Kiwi Kalaria, Yep That Was Me, Jake Spider Monkey, Dave C, Thomas Emberbreath, Bazaar, The Fat Man, Dylan Hotling. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're hard.